Hey, what's happening, everyone? Sean here with Blue Ridge Silverhound. We have another edition of the Monday Market Report, this time for the week ending February 12th, 2022. I want to thank you guys for tuning in to this video where we explore all of the most relevant, modern, graded, I would say post 1900 is usually the mark I like to stick around at. Graded coins to have sold here in the last 7 days. Now, this week we take a look at great collections. I think they've pushed a lot of really nice quality coins out into the marketplace. A lot of really big registry set coins. And again, the big kind of like focal point of these videos is to kind of see where the market is going. Normally when you see a few kind of back-to-back, like really weak weeks, we kind of, can make a little bit of an assessment of how the market's doing. And it kind of play out a scenario where things might recover or continuously go down. But again, a lot of the coins that do enter the marketplace that generally sell for over $1,000 are kind of like the coins that are being pursued for a couple different reasons. One, of course, I talked about registry sets. That's always a big one. The first coin on the list is just going to knock your socks off, and it's going to be more or less a microcosm of what one of the more recent series of U.S. coins kind of is. But yeah, that's going to be a talking point here in a few moments. But in addition, we're also exploring just real collectible type coins, US type. Maybe there's a variety or something in there that's pretty hot that, of course, that sets just continuous trends. And it's those kind of like main staples week in and week out that really shapes the market overall. Where are these coins kind of settling at? Are they trending up? Are they going down? And I talk about them. I don't talk about them every week. We do have a 55 DDO Lincoln cent on the list this week, only because I really like the look of it. I think the price that it sold at was right on the money. No pun intended, but again, it's coins like that that really shape the overall market. But we also talk about those kind of like one-off, very situational type coins as well. So again, everything's from great collections. If you guys are looking to consign your nice high-graded coins or currency, Great Collections has been one of the tried and true auction houses out there. I am no way endorsed by Great Collections, but I am. I do buy on there quite consistently. So I am a customer of theirs. All in all, if you need help, Great Collections certainly has the ways to get a hold of them, whether by calling them or simply sending them an email. And you never know, you might get Mr. Ian Russell, who is their president, giving you a jingle to see what you got. He's very engaged in his business and has done exceedingly well. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into the first set of coins. We actually have a really, really busy week. Coming off the hot off the heels of the Florida Fun Show. We've seen a few weeks where they're kind of like, just kind of easing back. I know after a big show, bigger auction houses tend to not list so many things during that time, just so, to keep the competitive nature of the market in tune and isolated to those events. All right, so the first coin that we're going to look at here today is the one that I had alluded to a few minutes ago. It's a 2015 Lincoln Shield cent. This is their kind of highlight coin of the week, and this coin is actually quite scarce. Now, that seems like a trap statement. The 2015 Lincoln cents were produced in just insane numbers. Lots of these were made. Hundreds and hundreds of millions of this particular date were produced during its day. The coin is only 7 years old, but, however, this is a Mid-State 68 red. It's probably one of the most cleanest looking 68s that you could come across. And the big kind of challenge with these is finding one that would grade out anything above Mid-State 65. It's not an easy feat, and that's the big reason why that this coin was a few dollars short of $10,000, $9,954 to be exact. So if you really kind of like dig down deep into the way the mint processes and produces coins, you would think based off of current standards and quality control, well, not recent quality control, but quality control during that time and the high technology, these things should be made relatively perfectly. And in hindsight, a lot of them should grade out like this, but they're not. And a lot of it has to do with the rinsing agents that they use on the planchets, and it really leaves a lot of these unsightly white spots that eventually turn into carbon spots. And it just seemed to, even to this day, plagues this series in such a negative way that finding some coins that grade out even at the absolute floor in mid-state 66 is going to be like pulling teeth. It's one of the most difficult things that you will ever embark. So this one right here, again, hard to believe $10,000 is even a realistic number for this. But you also have to take a look at the grand scope of Lincoln Cent collectors. It's the most popularly collected series in U.S. coins, and with the deep just roster of registry set participants of this type, you're going to believe that a lot of these coins will sell for these ridiculous numbers. Again, not for the faint of heart. If you think you're going to send off some of these coins to either PCGS or NGC, you might want to think twice. Oftentimes, most folks will end up, throwing their money away trying to obtain what I consider to be a white whale of the series. By the way, this is a Pop 2 with 0 finer. There's only 2 coins in a mid-state 68, and it is what it is. Out of the probably close to 1 billion or more produced, only 2 of them in a 68. So that if that's not evidence enough, I don't know what is. Now here's another registry set coin. Again, Philadelphia minted examples of the 50s are quite tough to find. This one also has a little bit of tone color to it, while still keeping the integrity of the full red planchet in order. A mint state 67 plus full red is definitely top of the list, top of the heap for this particular date. It's a very attractive coin. It's even gold shielded by PCGS. This one right here ended up selling for a staggering $7,312.50. The hits just keep on coming when it comes to registry set quality coins. This is another one. Now here's one of those kind of like, I guess blue chip coins is what I like to call it. If we're using stock market metaphors in here, this is certainly a blue chip to kind of help gauge the overall condition of the market. And this is probably one of my favorite grades of this particular variety. The 55 double die obverse, also known as the FS 101 in the Cherry Picker's Guide, is the coin that makes most people blind. I think in more ways than one. There's no delusional factor with this coin. It's either you want it for your collection and you don't have to worry about registry sets or anything like that, or it's just not for you. But I'm willing to bet that 95% of the coin collectors certainly would not mind having this coin in their collection. Now, it's a 63 brown, which is, I think, a very solid grade. When you get into like red brown and full reds, a lot of them, like in a 63, 64, look and appear less than stellar. The eye appeal on them, with maybe the occasional carbon spot, maybe the unevenness of the coloration of the coin, can be a detractor sometimes, and that's why a lot of people go for the full brown types, because they all look pretty good at this point. This one ended up selling for $4,303.12. Again, that's just a really solid amount of cash for one of the most important varieties in U.S. coins. And this one right here is one of my favorites. In case you're wondering, the white on the reverse going around the perimeter of the coin is actually just from the slab plastic. I believe this was in a little bit older PCGS holder. So just to let you guys know, in case you were compelled to comment about that, that's just plastic remnants from the slab.
All right, so we do have a few more registry set coins. Again, here's another beauty: 1951S Lincoln wheat cent, San Francisco minted coins of the 50s. Lincoln cents, especially. I'm not going to speak for like Jefferson nickels because that's a completely different breed. But these were all produced of very high quality. Anything coming from Denver or San Francisco, you can make that case. This is a Mint State 67 Plus full red through PCGS. And again, another coin for the registry sets. This one sold for $1,833.75. And the same goes for this 1950D. Now this time it's a 67 red, not a plus, through PCGS. And again, this is another important kind of key coin for a high-end Lincoln cent registry. And yeah, I mean, there's really not a whole lot else to say. The coin looks a lot better than any other Philadelphia minted example in a full red. Just overall, a little bit cleaner coin than anything that they would produce. This one sold for $1,941.75. All right, so we haven't talked about a steel cent in quite some time, but I figure, hey, let's go ahead and kind of check in and see where these are settling at. Always the popular 1 year type because of its unusual composition. Again, it's zinc-coated steel planchet. They had done away with copper for the year to kind of ration that particular material for the war efforts. So they went with a completely different composition. And even to this day, it's still one of the most popular asked for coins at coin shops and dealers and shows and all that stuff. This one is a PCGS Mid-State 68. It's not the top grade of this particular date, but it is kind of like a benchmark grade where there's a lot less of them available compared to any other grade that falls before it. This one right here sold for $2,432.25, which is what I think is kind of like on par of all the other examples that have sold of this particular grade. And it doesn't matter if it's a P, D, or S. They all seem to be in that $2,500 to $3,000 level, even still to this day. And there was really no shortage of Mid-State 68s. These were produced in such nice quality that finding one that grades out at maybe a 67 will set you back only a few $100. So, you know, there's a little bit of a safety net if you like to grade these things, but of course 68 is going to be the grade that you really want from a profit type of perspective. And then finally, 1909 SVDB is going to be always on top of everybody's list. When someone's putting together a complete set of Lincoln cents, from wheats to memorials to shields, it always seems to be that the VDB 09S is the one coin they leave for last because of its expense. They're all quite pricey, even in grades as low as like VG, maybe good if you're looking just for an example, just a decent example to put in your collection. But when they get up to this level, now this is a completely kind of like different ball of wax. It's a Mid-State 66 Plus full red example. Again, not the top tier, top echelon of what you would consider to be, you know, a very rich coin. This coin is still very rich, but it's not a 67 or higher, as those can approach $100,000 really easily. But if you're looking to settle a little bit, you could own something like this, and this particular example sold for $26,578.12. All right, on to nickels, and up first we have 1948S Jefferson nickel. Now, we do have a few 1940s Jeffersons we're going to talk about this week, and 1940s have always been one of those decades where you could kind of approach it with a little bit more optimism. If you're looking to find a coin with full steps and in the Jefferson nickel series, you can do really well looking through 1940s dated coins. You know, going to a coin shop and, you know, finding these inventories where maybe they had received a high-end set that's like 20, 30 years old. Because I know older collectors from like back in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, they were quite meticulous when it came to choosing the right specimens to add to their albums. And oftentimes you're going to be able to find some of these really nice full step 1940s dated coins. Not nearly as difficult as searching and trudging through 1950s nickels. That in itself is just insanity. But this is another great date to look for. A lot of San Francisco minted nickels during the 40s were generally well struck, so you'd have a little bit easier time looking for these. This particular example sold for $1,895.13. And the same goes here. Again, Philadelphia minted examples are okay. They're not San Francisco level, but this one is certainly a beauty with the kind of like the nice tone striations on the front and back of the coin. This one's a mint state 67 full steps. Again, the previous coin in this one, tailored for that registry set. And this one sold for $1,526.70. All right, we do have a few buffaloes in the house, and these are two of probably what I consider to be some of the more common branch mint dates. If you're able to find some of them and spend anywhere from $100 to $200 raw, you could really turn out a nice payday. And a lot of people are aware of this that are into the series, so it shouldn't be a big surprise, but this is a 37S. 37, in hindsight, is a common date. And you add in D mints, S mints, they're still not too bad. And you can still certainly find these on the secondary market raw and high mint state grades for, again, that $100 to $200 level. Again, you're really going to have to put your faith into the system and into your grading acumen to know what exactly is a high-end 1930s coin is. And this is one of them. It's also CAC certified. That's almost kind of like a foregone conclusion that you probably want to send any example of this type to CAC because that's just going to enhance the value probably by about 25-30%. This one right here ended up selling for $1,244.25. And here's a 36S. This is not my coin, but I do have a 36S that'll be going to PCGS in my next submission. I'll probably end up doing a video putting that together so you guys see what that looks like. But this one's a 67. And again, it's not without its faults. It's got kind of like a weakness here on the strike of this right above the braid area in this hair. And you do have a few nicks in the high spots on the reverse. Again, not a perfect coin. Ideally, if you want the mega rich grade of a 36S, you're going to have to aim for maybe a 67 plus or a 68. That's where things kind of get out of control in a good way, for the market. This one, really decent looking coin. It's got little spots of toning, little pockets of yellow and russet brown in there. This one sold for $1,186.88. Again, adding the CAC service on this certainly helps. Otherwise, it probably would be a coin that sells for right around $750. It makes that kind of difference. And then finally, we have a 1913S, this time a Type 1. So we have Black Diamond, the Buffalo, on a raised mound on this one. Now, obviously one of the big keys of the series is the 13S Type 2, where the Buffalo is not on a raised mound. But this is kind of a sleeper in my estimation. It's a little bit lower mintage, and because a lot of folks were kind of hoarding these first year type Buffaloes, the Type 1s specifically, there's a lot of them that are in much nicer shape. But when you get into the San Francisco minted Type 1s, they can be a little bit challenging to look for, and I would imagine there can't be too many examples out there raw that you could pick up for a decent amount of money to turn and send to a grader. This is just a really pretty looking example here as a 66 plus and also CAC certified. This one ended up hammering for $4,788. We do have a few dimes on the list. Again, we had a really stacked list of US type coins for the 20th century. How about the 63D Rosie with lots of just attractive toning on there? Just a beautiful looking coin. And whoever submitted this to the graders, ended up going kind of all the way. You know, they stacked on a lot of things. So this one was graded through NGC, which is, you know, kind of like one of the premier services for dimes in general. But this one right here is a mid-state 67 plus star, which denotes the eye appeal, the toning. It's also got a full torch, so it's got the full bands and the splits on there. But it's also QA certed as well. You can see just a little portion of the QA sticker, which is kind of like another version of CAC. Okay, only they deal with much more modern coins. Normally you would see Jefferson nickels and maybe Washington quarters QA certified as well. Believe it or not, the QA sticker really does matter on some of these coins as well in terms of its market. This one ended up selling for $3,825, and I'm willing to bet that a lot of folks don't realize the true potential of a coin as commonly dated as the 63 can manage to squeak nearly $4,000 in value just by finding it, which is kind of nice. I like seeing stuff like this. All right, so we have a trio of San Francisco minted Mercury dimes, and San Francisco Merc dimes, and you could even throw in maybe the Walking Liberty half dollars, have always been a challenging, I guess, kind of decade for full strikes. All right, so that's why I wanted to talk about a trio of San Franciscos. We got 42S right here, just a beautiful, amazing coin. This is the only one out of the three graded by NGC as a mid-state 68. Full bands. Normally a San Francisco minted 1940s dime will not exhibit the sharpness of the bands that you see here. A lot of them come out without the full bands designation. This one sold for $2,931.75. And then much more difficult, a 41S. This one also a 68 full bands, this time through PCGS. It's not going to enhance the value too much more compared to an NGC graded coin. But this one, again, just another rarity for its strike designation. You just don't see too many of them like this. This one ended up selling for $4,612.50. And then the last of the bunch, how about 40S? Now this one right here, you have quite a bit of an array of die file lines. You can see the little lines all over the place. So there might have been a clash or something at one point on this set of dies. That remains to be seen, but you know, these dies were definitely worked on to maintain its look. Now again, another tough date to find with full split bands. And again, this is a 68 right here through PCGS. And this one, the big cake topper, sold for $4,837.50. All right, we're going to close it out with 3 Washington quarters. Okay, we're going to start it out here with a 1956 proof Washington quarter. This is what I would consider to be the last date of the affordable proof coins that you could kind of cherry pick through. Even to this day, you could pick up a decent 1956 proof set for between $30 and $40. Although I have a feeling that price is rising by the month. Because it used to be that these were, as recently as maybe 2 years ago, a really cheap kind of cherry pick in a set that used to be between 20 and 25 bucks. But as more attention goes to coins and various other collectibles these days, this is a coin again with deep cameo surfaces, a true rarity, and one that I encourage a lot of folks, if you can, it's kind of like the easiest cherry picking. If you have a number of these in quantity that's sitting at a coin shop near you or a show, or maybe you know someone that has these, any deep cameo frosted coin from the 50s of any denomination are grade-worthy coins. And I can't stress that enough, but you need that frosting on both sides. This one, I would say, is probably the least spectacular date of the bunch. I've seen more 56 DCAM coins than any other date in the 50s. This one realized $1,185.75. And then here's a 35D as well. Much tougher date. Now, compared to any other date after 1940, a 1930s D or S coin, and there are a few Philadelphia coins, are all quite scarce and desirable in these top registry set grades. This is a Mint State 67 Plus through PCGS. Again, another beauty. Toning, not particularly my favorite, but I just love the allure of the coin and its original skin. Sold for $2,925. And then finally, we're going to end it off on a beautiful Standing Liberty quarter with a little bit of a cool provenance. This is a 27D Standing Liberty quarter, and it's a previous North Shore collection. I would have to guess that this would maybe spend a little bit of time on the island of Oahu. I mean, if it's holding true to its provenance, North Shore collection. But just a beautiful coin. Again, this is not your prototypical date to find with a sharp strike, but this one right here has all of that beauty on there. Just a really nice original coin at a mid-state 66 full head. It's about as tough as you'll get. Some of these mid-20s coins, especially Denver and San Francisco minted coins, are quite scarce. This one's also a CAC certified coin, and the winner of this auction is going to be pleased to have this one. However, not at a low cost. This one ended up selling for $12,037.50. So that's a beautiful coin there to kind of end things on the Monday market report for this week. I want to thank you guys for joining in. That sure was a lot of fun. Did you guys have a personal favorite from this week's list that you wanted to highlight? Go ahead and mark it down below in the comments section. Would love to hear about it. I'm your host, Sean, with Blue Ridge Silverhound. That's going to go ahead and do it. We'll see you again next Monday or Sunday for another edition of the MMR. But that's going to go ahead and do it for this one. Don't forget to LS and S. You know what that is. And hit that bell for instant notifications if you haven't done so. But that'll do it. You guys take care. Have a wonderful week. Keep collecting, my friends. And I'll see you on the next coin video. So long.